have you got?
Jukes. I see someone, but I don't think they're alive.
This house is clean.
Jumpy.
Another dead zone. The only thing alive in here is the smell.
They're not coming back.
Well, if you're gonna ride out the apocalypse, no better way to do it than with some castles and crusades.
Hey, you too. Take only what you need.
Trollord Games, join the fray.
Did.
It
I
didn't.
remember a cornucopia.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Last week we had 2. This week we got 15.
I can't
everybody
believe
can
that's
hear us.
real.
We have so many.
Hello.
Many
Wow.
trolls.
Amazing.
Such a big group that we might need to split the party.
Oh, damn.
That's why we hired her.
That was good.
The CK's nightmare. The player's nightmare, really.
For sure.
The only
So-
reason splitting the party is considered dangerous is because the game master doesn't want to run 2 scenarios at the same time and kills half of them.
Yes.
That is the only
No.
reason. There's nothing intrinsically dangerous
Yes.
about doing it at all.
Yes.
So we're here to to bullshit with you people tonight. We do have a raffle going on. Anybody who's new, you just give us a follow, extra support raffle. If you are on another one of the mediums that we are streaming to, you'll have to come over here, unfortunately, to twitch.tv/TrollRGames. If you want to get in on the giveaway, we're giving away some store codes tonight. There's a link for you guys that are watching on the other platforms. If you want to come over, you can. I'm Chuck Cumbo, Community Director for Troller Games, and we're the Trolls. And we're here to hang out with you as my screaming granddaughter in the background does not want to leave without telling me goodbye. So,
Hey, Chuck.
yeah.
You've already determined this, but someone just asked, what is a gaggle of trolls called? What did you came up with something that was great. What was it?
A bunch of jackasses.
It's a clutch.
A clutch? A clutch of
That's what we
trolls.
went with,
Yes.
the clutch.
Clutch of
Are you coming in
trolls.
here?
It's a grundle of trolls.
Cool.
Tell everybody hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, little one.
Hey.
You come to tell me bye? All right. Let me kiss you. I love you. All right. Go fight a dragon somewhere.
Trembling of trolls. There you go, Commander Pete.
Oh, okay. All right.
A litless troll.
See a little bit, baby.
Agile, thank you for the kind
Yeah,
words.
give those a name.
Interviewing
Give them one.
Kathy was awesome. If y'all haven't seen it,
Oh,
there's an
it
interview
was
up with
so good. I
Dr.
really
Kathy
wish
Schultz.
Kathy would have dogged on Steve some more, but that's
I was
you
afraid it was
interviewed
going to be an
Daddy?
hour of her doing that.
We'll save it for the next one.
my favorite comment in the whole interview, and I won't spoil it for everybody, but there was something said, and then she just went, and I've managed to successfully, and like paused in between each word and said, successfully be married to Steve.
Wait, what?
So it was pretty funny.
Kathy's in my wife's interview is up. Grace got it up Monday or Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah.
I've watched about 2/3 of it. It's very good.
It's entertaining.
It's a fun one.
She was kinder to me than I thought that she would be. So.
Kinder than I was hoping.
Yeah. Where's the fun in that?
We gotta have like the Chenaults debate, like one with Steve and one with Kathy on like either side of the
Oh my
screen.
God,
and then
I
you
would
both
pay
Oh,
money
that
face
for
sounds
that.
so
each other.
cute.
You don't want to see that.
She is so
Because here's
biting.
that debate
Oh,
would
yeah.
not stop when the camera shuts off. That would keep
Oh,
going.
no.
Yeah, no,
Oh yeah, that's the problem with that. That debate would be a long one. We
Yeah,
would see
Steve would be
we would see
sleeping
like
on that
5
chair
minutes
back
of it. The camera would be down.
It's mostly become at this point when we start to argue, I'm just like, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm good. I don't care.
Steve, that's the ticket. It's happy wife, happy life. So you
Yeah,
just
there you go.
you yield.
I'll tell you this. I learned at some point, if you don't really care about something, don't talk about it. And I don't care about much, so I don't care. Whatever. I will say that after what have we been married 26 years? That meme that's been floating around, marriage. I don't know how it goes, but marriage evolves down to trying to figure out what you're going to have for dinner for the rest of your life. What are we eating tonight? I don't know. You decide.
That sounds like the kind of conversations we have.
If that's the biggest argument, quote unquote, you have in the household, I think
Yeah.
you're doing fine.
Oh, he didn't say that. He did not say
That's
that.
not what he made the statement of. No. But
No, but I made it the statement of.
Fair, we don't really argue anymore.
you are
Yeah,
correct.
right.
Too exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yes,
to
it is
argue.
exhausting.
I got you guys to argue with all day.
But you
Really?
never
It's
argue.
true. We argue all day long.
Oh my
He's
God.
I'll argue with
I don't know what
anyone
you're
about
talking about.
anything, any topic, anywhere.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
ready
What's
to
the best way to beta? What's the best way to beta hook, Davis?
My way.
All
Well,
right,
the other
perfect.
way is
I saw how
highway.
your way caught fish the other day, and it didn't work. So.
So anyway, we're here to talk about all kinds of things. So I think we've got a
With it,
question.
no. With the debit card at Walmart.
So we've got a question up in chat if you guys want to look it over, and then we're going to kind of take some of your guys' answers and stuff and talk among. And I think Grace is going to ask us our replies. So
Yeah.
it's kind of what's going
So
on.
should we start talking about the subject at hand, or wait for
Wait.
some?
I have one question.
Davis has many things he wants to ask.
Yeah.
Yes,
Chuck,
many
why do
questions.
you always look like you have a headache?
Well, you
Today he
know,
does.
7 years ago, I didn't used to look like this. So,
Because poor Chuck has to talk to me all day.
Yeah.
No good comes of that.
He just
Nah,
goes-
it's all
whenever
good.
he's like, okay, all right, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Chuck gets
You
all
know-
of it.
There's two sides of every coin. So this is what Chuck looks like after talking to Steve all day, and yet I'm fine. So like, Chuck, what are you doing wrong?
I don't know. You look like you just woke up. You look so refreshed, whereas
I
I'm over
know.
here beaten to a pulp. So it's all good, though.
I mean, like Steve talked to me so you talked my ear off so much I became a
Really? How fascinating. Wow. I bet y'all was hanging out on video all day, just chatting it up.
Got
Oh yeah,
shunted
definitely.
into 2D.
Interesting. Hey,
Touch
what's
of
up,
Evil
Agile
has
Monk?
like, hey buddy, welcome in. Touch of Evil has like a good point. Splitting the party could be good when exploring a settlement. Do you guys see like any sort of distinction between splitting the party in the wild versus in like a safe zone, like a city or a settlement? Like, is
Well,
one better than the other?
If you're playing in Steve or Davis's game, it doesn't matter.
Once you turn the corner from the other rest of the group, you're doomed.
Safety is, never guaranteed.
Right.
It's fair. It's fair.
I gotta
You
say,
could get mugged just as easily as you could get attacked by a wolf.
I gotta lean into Jeremy's point because really the splitting the party is aggravating because now I'm running 2 games or 3 games, and if this group takes very long, then this group starts getting bored and looking at their phone or whatever. So then I invariably bring in something horrible to make them get back together.
Invariably
it's
so.
An issue. It's only an issue if one or more of the groups is doing something boring or tedious. Because
that's
you
true.
don't want to cover their boring stuff. You want to do the interesting stuff, and then you're giving all your attention to the interesting group, and then the boring group is like, "Whoa, we haven't gone in like 30 minutes." Like,
you're
right.
The most common
How
time.
much can you do when you're standing in a shop looking at boots?
The most common occurrence I've had of split the party on a regular basis is when they're shopping, because that's exactly what happens. We've got the diehards that want to go through and find new armor and shit. Then the other guys who are like, they probably don't even wear armor. One of them's a scald. He raises hell all the time. Why do you need damn armor? I don't wear any. So then you got 2 different groups. One leaves the shop. Now they're wandering down the street. Hey, what's over here? That kind of bullshit. So yeah, that's where I get split the party at mostly.
I mean, the most common thing that I've encountered is like one person splitting from the party to pursue their own like either personal plot or like investigate the main plot on their own. I think that if you are setting aside 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of your day to like sit with a group of people and play a game, no one should ever go 30 minutes without playing the game, regardless of what they're doing is like boring or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I think okay, so from my perspective,
30 minutes is hyperbole, but
For sure. Yeah.
5 minutes is too long.
I had a player who used to do that all the time. One guy who used to break off from the party to do his own. It was so irritating after a while.
It gets annoying.
It gets annoying. So you know what the party did? The players did. So he wanted to break off from the party, and they're like, "Cool, that's great." He wanted to climb down this rope into this pit on his own and do his own thing. And they're like, "Cool, go ahead." And he started crawling down the rope. Then they cut the rope, and his character died.
Davis, I was kind of hoping that story would end with all the players got a bunch of bars of soap and put it in canvas bags and beat it.
No, that's in the army.
All right.
Well, we have a question from Agile Monk. It's not strictly related. Grace and Chuck, I would like you to back me up here and let Stephen know that I have been asking once again for the non-OGL documentation to support the third-party content my FCW entity is building for CNC. I want to ensure that I am only using the right Troller Games and CNC Publishing okie dokie process correctly.
Yes, we will get that done. It is, I promise you, it's on the docket. Right now, we are hammering Amazing Adventures through into the printers. Then we got to get Reforged into the printers. And then I can kind of stop, catch my breath, and get various legal stuff done. Because I know the legal stuff on the page is, I think it's still got OGL crap in it. So we will get that purged before winter, I think. We're making tremendous progress in the last month or so, and I expect this will keep going. So hopefully in the next few weeks.
It'll be coming. There's just a lot to do.
Oh yeah, I've moved a lot of boxes from there to there.
Hey, Dakota did unearth this. Do you remember this, Davis?
At the binder?
This is the original playtest notes for Castles and Crusades from back in 2004? 2003.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It was 2003 when we looked at it.
Yeah. It's got, it's Mark. Here's his name.
Show a page of it. I want to see a page of it.
So there's your front page, your title. You and Mag went all in. That's the original CNC logo.
Yeah. I love that logo too.
Yeah, it is. I got that buried somewhere.
You know what'd be cool is if you could reforge that logo for our reforged Castles and Crusades.
And then here's your there you go.
Dibs.
We'd have to update the trade dress on everything.
Just notes. Good stuff.
Interesting.
Manfred is asking if we can get a copy of that binder.
Sure.
DM John
You
says
cash
you
at me $1,000, I'll get it for you.
What does Davis always say? Show off.
Swap.
Show off.
Get right on that. Well, if
Dude,
you
it's so
find
much shorter. It's like 45 pages is the whole game. And now
Yeah.
the book's like 300 pages. It's
yeah, I tell you, it can all be condensed down to 20 pages.
right. Which we're not going to do. But
No, never, never.
never.
It can actually all be condensed down to one number.
Shh.
Okay.
No, there's no. I don't think there's a copy of that in the mystery box, Savage. But that would be
Yeah,
sneaky
there
if
you
it
go.
was.
Hey, Dakota, what we're really looking out for is a red notebook.
Still looking for that?
Is that the one notebook that my mom and everybody's been looking for years?
The red book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder is it small enough to fit in one of those little drawers back there?
No.
Oh, that's a great
No.
question.
Yeah, I mean, it might. No, it's not. Oh, it might be. It might be in one of those drawers.
Yeah.
So what Dakota's pointing at, if you look at Dakota, behind him, you'll see a hand truck, the little dolly there. Behind that is a green cabinet that's got, I don't know, 36 drawers in it. And in that cabinet are just metric tons of Troll Lord crap. There's some floppy disks in there with Inzaya stuff on it from 1999.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Do you have anything that can read a floppy disk?
Yeah, I know.
You need an external drive.
Yeah, there's just all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
Patches, miniatures. I don't know.
You've even got two of my hard drives.
Yeah, I got all the company's hard drives, all of them. Those are in a box in there. About 30.
Speaking of hard drives, what part of the world doesn't get much love that someone could design adventures for? Torlock says.
In the world of air, in the world
Yeah.
of air.
Yeah.
Grace, move over just a little bit. Do you know where Ursula is on that map?
Oh,
Ursula?
Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
I
put
think I
your-
can point to it with my eye.
I can see it.
Looking.
So she's covering it. The rest is open.
Anything except the Darkenfold. I say this as someone writing an adventure for the Darkenfold.
That's right.
Yeah.
You are.
No,
Don't
don't
write
do
that.
that. Stop. Get out of those woods.
But there's plenty of
If I
room.
see one more adventure with green in the title that takes place in those damn woods, I'm going to rip out all my
Mine
hair.
has red in the title.
There you go.
Information.
Mortality of green.
All right, the redwood. It's a redwood forest, right? Is that what you're at? Ah, I see. A little grove.
Oh, maybe.
I'll give you some winter stuff. How about that?
Mm.
Jeremy's national
It's
history.
gonna be the time for like cozy seasonal adventures.
Right?
I'm so excited.
Get a blanket on, go roll some dice.
We can
Ah,
save
I love
Santa
games that have
here.
atmosphere.
Right?
You're
Cozy
fighting for your
seasonal
life, but
murder
it's
hobos.
cozy.
You open the window.
Murder.
Man, it's so cold out here. I know it's cold in the house too.
Oh, hockey time.
Oh, there you go.
And
This
Chuck
air
is
doesn't
running an
make you
adventure
feel
right
great.
now in Inclunade, this island here. That's a
Yeah,
cool
Chuck's-
region.
Chuck's developing Inclinade quite a bit.
I love that area. That's my favorite area. I just see it as a giant Isle of Dread. That's all it is. Giant isle.
We do, Alan, Alora and Don. CNC needs a haunted house type model. That's exactly.
Oh, you know, we don't have one of those. We do not
Haunted
have.
house?
We don't
No, we don't.
I'll write it.
We don't
We've
have a haunted
gotten-
house.
We've
It's
got
like that.
one in 25 years of publishing. We have published one themed module. Davis wrote it. It's called the Hanging Tree.
The hanged man or the
The
hanged man.
hangman. Yeah.
Hangman for
It's the hanged man.
for Halloween. We've never written another.
We didn't do one before that. I thought we had.
Well, I've got a themed book we
What
can
about the
start.
Haunted Highlands?
So whatever.
No, the Digibinder instruction manual.
So
I-
when
There you
I
go,
found
folks.
I made this.
They actually had an instruction manual for that.
No, I found a PDF online, and I made a cover in the print shop, and I bound the book myself because I was sick and tired of not having an instruction manual for the freaking binder. So I literally flipped open 2 pages of it, and I figured out how to do square back binding on that binder.
Really?
Yeah, that binder's bound 10,287 books, and I bound the first 30 square back books ever on that binder.
Nice. Did you figure out the glue problem?
They need to be cleaned.
Oh, okay.
And so the reason that the nipper, it's called the nipper, by the way, the thing that closes the cover, like that.
That's horrific.
That is literally the actual name for it in the book. It's called the nipper. And,
That's the most vile thing I've ever heard.
I know, it's so weird. But
you should nip it in the bud.
yeah, probably. But it's got 2 shafts in it. Right. Well, I'm making this worse.
Well, hey, speaking of things that are cursed,
All right,
close it.
I'm going to go with Mel on this. Let's nip the shafts in the bud right now.
speaking of
But
nipping
anyways,
and
they're
shafts,
supposed to be cleaned daily. They haven't been cleaned in 7 years.
So you're saying
What were you saying?
nobody's been cleaning the shaft?
Nope, nobody's been cleaning the shaft on the nipper.
Do I need to leave this conversation?
I am. I'm getting terrified.
speaking of cleaning the shaft, Crash Monkey just joined the stream. Do we have any CNC or ANA updates to share?
Nippers and shafts. There you go.
We just kind of went over Amazing Adventures a little bit.
I can do a quick update if everyone wants a quick update.
Yeah, go ahead.
A quick update would be nice.
Let me be fast. So Amazing Adventures, the 2 core books, the 2 main books are at the printers now. We just did approvals on the second one. It'll go to press no later than Monday, probably tomorrow. The smaller books for AA are in one various state of being finished and done. So the Indiegogo campaign should be ready in the next 3 to 4 weeks. As soon as those books get back from Walsworth, we'll begin shipping it. Chuck has already set up the shipping procedures. I don't think we've sent that out yet, but that should be going out probably Monday, Chuck, something like that, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday at the latest.
Okay, Tuesday the latest. For Reforged, Jeremy he's finished doing the pass on the CKG, so it's updated to with all the new content he's done. Yes, you did. You sent it to me last week. And he finished M&T's update like 2 weeks ago. I think we got 34 pieces of art left. Is that right, Jeremy?
28.
28, and then that book goes into layout. Do it.
Left to assign. There's quite a few that are still out. But 28.
Yeah, they haven't trickled in. But in the next 30 days, the M&T should be ready for Peter to do layout. Each of those books needs to get printed. That'll be done in Dakota's shop. Then it'll go to Finn for a final edit. And then they will go to the printers. So I'm hoping in the next 40 days, those 3 books are at the printers and they're out in November. With those, of course, will come something I can't remember. Crusader 28, which is mostly done, I think, or it's in layout.
Just art and layout again.
Art and layout. Okay. Then what am I missing here? Arms and Armory. I was told today that Peter's doing his final pass on the Adventurer's Armory. And it's done, so I'll have it and war mounts. It should be finished and ready for Finn's final edit tomorrow. We've got some art to do for the Monstrous Armory, of which Mel just dove into that fray.
We have 3 artists working on it right now.
To get art down there. What else is something? The Hermit. I've got to write the forward, preface, introduction, whatever Jeremy's going to call it. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. And Luke's got to write his, and then that book's done. I think that's.
Well, I need to get it.
Yeah. It needs the final edits, but it'll be
Yeah.
So we're really looking in the next 45 days to wrap up with his enhanced on a project.
Can you imagine the amount of weight that's going to be lifted?
Dakota and I will know very soon. We have to move it all.
What am I going to do?
All of these books are coming your way, Dakota.
Wait, did I have to print or did I have to carry?
Both.
You and I will be hand trucking them into the warehouse for sure.
Oh, those books.
I'll come down for a weekend. I'll give you guys a hand.
We should probably make room in the warehouse.
You better be careful, Jeremy. I'm telling you, best be careful.
We'll take you up on it, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hey, if he's paying gas, I don't care.
Well, you know what? That's what we should do.
Okay.
We should do a stream where I just clean out the.
Yeah, just work. Just do a work stream.
There you
Dude, I moved out of a 3rd-story apartment by myself. It's fine.
go. Yeah. We just need some gasoline. Yeah. But there's your update.
Well, hell yeah. Speaking of gasoline, Chris Donovan is asking, how do the Inzea primer and the Dragon's Crucible fit together? This is probably a question for Davis. Did the latter replace the former? And is Photius the fishmonger the same person as Photius the magus from the epistolary?
Yes. On the
Yes,
left.
Paul.
Yes,
It's a huge question. Yes.
Okay. Photius the fishmonger is the same Photius.
We answered that part.
Yeah, okay. And what was so start the other question?
How do the primer and the Dragon's Crucible fit together?
So the primer, the Dragon's Crucible is just, I think it's basically an expanded primer.
Yeah.
That includes all the modules associated with that I've written for Inzea and some maps. That's it. They're the same thing. So the primer's included in the Dragon's Crucible. We just renamed it from Inzea to the Dragon's Crucible for for some reason. I can't remember the reason.
It-
I gave a long reason.
Well, we've done that with Air too. We've moved away.
It's
from
easier to
calling it
market.
Zaya and
Yeah.
Air, and each of the settings now has a name. It's the After Winter Dark campaign setting and a Dragon's Crucible campaign setting.
Like the World of Greyhawk is not the name
Thank
of
you,
the World of
Savage.
Greyhawk.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's I remember that first con that we did, and we had like the things up, and that group from Germany walked by,
Yeah.
and they go, "Wahoo!" They knew exactly how to pronounce everything. It was funny. But yeah.
Savage Thunder, thank you for gifting those subs, buddy.
Yeah, Agile Monk too. He put some in right before it too as well.
God
Holy
damn.
shit.
Oh shit, I missed that.
Yeah, no, it was so
Holy fuck, the
fast.
hype train. God damn.
Yeah, there's a hype train going on.
Choo choo.
Toot,
Thank you
toot.
guys so much. Will there be a reprint of Starship Warden? Ryan Mike was wanting to know.
Hey, we just
I
found those
wish.
covers the other day, didn't we?
No, probably not. That IP is now with
Very
with the world
complicated now.
passing. That IP is now in some gray area.
Yeah.
Which IP?
Starship Ward, Jim Ward's
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah, since he
so
passed, it's been
probably.
kinda-
I didn't think we would ever be doing Gygax again.
Fair.
You never know what the future's going to hold. I'm still
That's right.
friends with everybody up there, so who knows? But I wouldn't count on it anytime soon.
No,
gotta
that's a good
focus
point.
what's
You
on
know,
the
we don't
desk
know.
currently.
We never know what's going to happen, do we? I mean, honestly.
No.
That's a fair point.
No, if you had asked us 2 years ago if we were going to do Gygax, it was off the table. We didn't. Even,
Oh, yeah. We were still laughing about it. Someday,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Hey,
The
are
only
you going to
thing-
reprint those Gord the Rogue novels? It's like, well, that sounds cool. I don't,
And
Probably
that's
not.
back. And that's back on the docket. The only thing that you can
Yeah.
guarantee around here within the next 48 hours or so, David is going to break some part of his computer.
Yes, that's a
in some kind
guarantee.
of rage. that's the only
And-
guarantee. we get.
And he
Is that
will
the
damage
computer I
himself
was
somewhere
thinking?
outside.
I almost didn't get on because I couldn't get my camera to work. That's why I was on so late. And I just about took a hammer to it.
But we're going to fix all that. I got a plan.
Yeah.
And it involves a hammer.
I've
This
got
involves a
an
hammer.
angle. I've got an angle.
Wait,
It's
is
like
that
I got remember I got so mad at that one computer. I took it out in the front yard or in the street and just threw it into the street and just busted it to bits. And then I think you have the hard drive to that.
I remember in the old days when,
Crax machine scene in that one movie, Office
when
Space?
TLG bought Davis his first computer, because he'd already gone through like two, and I don't know what it's called now or what it was like now, but it was a $6,000 computer we were looking at. This was like 15
Oh
years
my
ago.
God.
And it was what the military intelligence people carry on battlefields. It
Oh,
had
yeah.
this metal case.
In the
It
case,
was all
yeah.
kind of built into it. I thought this is what Davis needs.
No kidding.
What we don't know is that Davis, in his free time, builds EMPs in his garage.
Yeah.
That's probably what's doing it. It's like, my computer's bricked. Well,
Dude,
yeah.
I do have okay, so I don't know if this is true or not. Some people like there's got to be some kind of electrical
Could
current
be a
because
sweeper.
shit goes wrong around me all the time. I walked into the Conoco the other day, or like a month ago, and literally as soon as I put my credit card in the credit card machine, the entire store shut down. All the electricity went out. Everything, the pumps died. Everything. It took them 15 minutes to get everything rebooted and started up again.
It's called computer karma, Davis. I was told
It's-
about
it's-
that the other day.
It's tech mana.
It's called
You
the
have to have a
curse of
certain level
Narvite.
of tech mana, and the computer
He's
will
right.
do what you want. Even if you have total
Oh.
technical knowledge over it, if you don't have that mana, it will fight you.
What he's
His
don't
saying,
have the
IQ
power
score
to
is not
control
high
it.
enough for that.
yeah,
I've done
Davis,
it to
you
Kent's
just,
computer too. I've shut down Kent's computer.
Davis, what they're saying is you have to treat your technologically
You
overlords,
have to be a
your
technocrat.
tech overlords properly. Show them the right respect.
Dude, I'm all over robot overlords.
Are you really?
Yes, ready and waiting.
The problem is, it wouldn't even be a
Wait.
robot anymore. It would just be a server somewhere.
Yeah,
I've got it.
There wouldn't be any robots.
no.
G.VA pulls up a great point. Davis is magnetic. I'm calling
I can
it
see it.
now.
Yes.
He's an electromagnet.
I always think of Davis as having a magnetic personality.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yep.
It's all the mercury I eat. So
There you go. It's all, what is it
Chew
you
on
eat all the time? What do you like? A garlic? Is it garlic you eat like an apple?
garlic, yeah.
Pizza.
Garlic
You
and
told me
onion.
to eat garlic and onion
Onions.
soup when I had COVID.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, if you'll watch him, he'll take a clove of garlic and sit there and eat it like it's an apple. It's just insane. It's just absolutely.
You two are like cartoon characters. I swear to God. It's ridiculous. The things I hear about you two and experience from you two is just ridiculous. It's not a bad thing. It's just there's so much of it. There's so much weird.
Never a dull moment with those two.
No, definitely.
I don't know what.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah.
It's fun being related to him, that's for sure.
Like Chris Donovan was asking back when you were talking about like Halloween and like kind of festive adventures, does Night of the Spirits qualify as a Halloween module?
I forgot about that. That was Brian Young. I think that was he might be right. That's two then that we did. There you go. Look at that. We're doing twice as good as I thought we were.
We need more.
We do need more, really.
Willie the Rat actually had a question about Brian Young as well. The 9 Worlds saga by Brian Young, volumes 1 and 2 have been done. Are the other 11 going to be continued?
I can't imagine so.
Sadly, no. Those will never be done. If they get finished, it won't be that. It'll be Finn will do something else. Finn is almost finished with there's too much Finns in this sentence, but there's almost finished with the Finland.
He's almost finished with the Finnick book.
Yeah, whatever. There's too many Finns going on.
Finished with the Finnick book.
He's almost done with it. He's very excited. He's telling me earlier. So.
Which one is it? Is it actually the Finnish one?
Finn is finished with Finnish fish section.
Yes, that one.
Watch Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk, yeah.
No, watch
Hey,
what was that movie?
You know, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but Jeremy recommended me a movie the other day. I watched it. It's a 10 out of a 10.
No. I recommended it to you like 3 years ago.
Oh, that's true. But I watched it the other day.
Yeah, yesterday, 3 years ago.
Yeah, that works out.
The other
Vast
day.
of Night. Go watch it. Davis, you'll love it.
What is it?
The Vast
of Night.
It is just fantastic.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Or Apple or something.
I think it's on Prime.
It's kind of best to go in not knowing anything.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about it. I'll just say this: it's an actual movie. There's not going to that stormtroopers aren't going to tackle Iron Man and throw one.
It's not schlock. It's like a real film.
It's a movie.
Oh, does it have acting and dialogue?
Yeah, oh yes, there's so much dialogue when the two main characters in the first 20 minutes. I actually paused it and I turned to Kathy and said, I haven't heard these many words in a movie in forever.
Except for like, look out, they're coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I watched the Wolverine and Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to determine whether there was dialogue in that or not.
Probably not. I doubt there was any dialogue in that movie.
I mean, does it really need it? Like,
no, it doesn't. No,
that kind of movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like I will say this about the Wolverine and Deadpool movie: I have not laughed in a theater in ages, and I know that I laughed out loud at least 6 times in that movie.
That's good to hear.
Did they really say that? And I was like,
it was a good movie.
Yeah,
I went back and watched it after I watched it.
You know what I just realized? They don't do straight comedies anymore. Like, when was the last comedy movie that came out?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's just the same old movie over and over again.
But it's always like
Adam Sandler movies.
It's like a superhero comedy or like a sci-fi comedy or there's no straight comedies anymore.
I think that so I sort of witnessed this happen, and I don't know if this is true or not, but there are comedies in like the 70s and 80s that I recall that are just straight out spoofing funny, just like
Buck, yeah,
well, like the Zucker movies, yeah.
But then at some point in the 80s or 90s, comedy rom-coms, especially by the late 90s, maybe the early 2000s, started to fall off in popularity. Or there started to be like these serious overtones to the comedies, and that sort of wrecks the whole comical thing. Anyway, so I can't think of a comedy. I mean,
Caddyshack.
One that's just
Top
a
Secret.
comedy in the last.
Yeah,
like,
that's just a comedy. That's just like making
Because
fun
Top
of
Secret's
everything.
like a World War II movie and an Elvis movie too. So
man. So my new favorite movie ever is The Night of Short Walk On Girl. Before I watched that movie, I don't know anyone who's like seen it before. I've only ever watched it once, and that was all I needed. It
What's
became
that?
my favorite movie. It's called The Calendar, but it's not like the popular one. It's from 1997.
Calendar.
I just get calendars from 1997.
Yeah, all these people have multiple.
It's
screens.
hang on, let me the calendar. It features 1993. Sorry. Without spoiling it, Adam Agoyan, that's the name of the director. It's not a comedy, but I'm just curious if anyone here has heard of it, because I feel like
No.
if anyone would have, it would be like this group and or this chat. It's a story about a American photographer who has an Armenian wife, and the two of them, like he's a photographer, he goes to Armenia with his wife to like take pictures of churches for a calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And like through the lens of his camera, we watch his Armenian wife fall in love with their local guide.
Oh no, that's craziness.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
And that's all I'll say about it. It's
That's too-
so good.
That's too close to
So
home for me,
it's an
Grace. I
actual
can't watch it.
movie with a story.
You know
It's
what
an
else is an
amazing movie.
actual
It's a little
movie?
surreal, but yeah.
Okay. It's
Oh,
like
I-
that movie Link with the orangutan that kills people.
That's like
Is it?
No, it's not
Just
at all.
like it.
I just wanted to reference that. I wanted to say something stupid.
that reminds me of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The
Never saw that.
you've never seen?
Mm-mm.
Okay, if you liked The Calendar, then you're going to enjoy. I think
Oh,
it's
you haven't seen the calendar.
Yeah, but he got the
Have you
overview.
seen- Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, I've seen it. It's been ages. But I've seen it.
Mostly these days, I just keep rewatching Mad Max Fury Road over.
As
and
I
over.
recall, The
That
Calendar.
was the
is-
last real movie.
The end of The Calendar is really depressing, as I recall.
The
Is that-
1993 one?
Maybe I'm thinking of
1993 or 1997?
1993, sorry, not 97.
Maybe I'm mixing.
There's
1982.
another
I'm gonna look it
there's
up
another
later.
more recent movie like 2000s called The Calendar.
There's one from 1948 or three.
This
or-
is why I
Six.
come
Yeah.
to this stream every week to get these novels and movie titles. 'Cause it's some good shit. It really is. It's good.
We'll
Read the
get to the
Broken Sword.
actual topic of the stream momentarily.
We say that.
So,
yeah, we're the
Davis,
ads
what was you
back.
saying?
1997?
What movie was you saying would be if you like the calendar, you'd like it as well?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
a much more famous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more famous than Grace's calendar.
The calendar. I had to get the year right to get it to come up.
You probably haven't heard of it. It features this little guy named Jim
Oh.
Carrey.
Have you seen this little film?
That reminds me though. Earlier, or what was it, like 2 days ago? I was talking. We should
Called The Wizard of Oz.
We should do an Ardian calendar. We should make one.
Yes.
I think so.
Well, we
I
should.
think
kinda
there's one
have
on
one.
DTRPG.
I know, but I think we should make like with our art and our.
Oh,
Maybe
for
days are in
sure.
a month in,
Yeah.
in an
I don't know, but
Well, I've been
Damn
wanting to
it,
do.
elves.
I've been wanting to do an advent calendar for years. For years. I think it'd sell good. Really
When
good.
is the World of Warcraft starting up? I haven't started it yet. I'm sorry. I've been buried under other things. But
When are
it's
we
coming
crafting
soon.
World Wars?
If you're talking, to,
You aren't?
What
Well,
the?
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
I love Minecraft.
Thankfully, we
Minecraft.
I hear you, Tyler. I hear you.
RuneScape.
RuneScape's a good.
Well, we've talked about doing a
RuneScape.
karaoke before. Stream with all of us
Yes.
on here singing, right?
Oh, I can do it.
We went to karaoke at Gen
Yeah.
Con.
We sure did.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
But
We
did
should have
anybody
a community karaoke night.
who
That'd
in
be
the
fun.
group did not sing? Gen Con?
Well, I was going to. My name was on
I
the
didn't.
list, but Steve and Jeremy were ready to go. So.
Criminal.
Yeah,
That was I had a
Criminal that you
little-
didn't stay.
I know. Well, what,
Steve, you didn't
and Jeremy
sing?
were ready to go?
I did not sing. There was no blonde.
was a college bar.
I'm sure you had a sign that said "No way in
Naturally,
hell."
but
Just held it up.
Karaoke.
It was a surreal experience for me because we used to go to that bar all the time.
Right.
For those out there, we went to Gen Con this year. First time we've been back since 2017, and the Trolls have been going to Gen Con since the year 2000, but we skipped those few years. But Davis and I and the rest of the crew used to go to this bar called the Wild Beaver. Well, I was the only one from the old crew that was there, and Grace and Jeremy and Dakota and Nick and Zach and Emily we all piled out. So it was weird, very weird for me in a very good way to sit there at the bar and watch this next generation of trolls doing karaoke, drinking, the whole thing. It was really cool. I mean, it was
cool.
It was something else.
Oh, and I peed on the famous dumpster.
He did.
Oh,
I did.
Well, that's a crime. You probably shouldn't.
But did you slip behind the bushes?
Jeremy over
Pass
here.
out behind the bushes.
No, I didn't do that.
He did not pass out in
The
the
oldest young man in the world.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
It's a joke.
Can you guys
Hey.
tell the dumpster story for those that might not?
Yeah,
be
tell
aware?
it. I'll tell my story about
witch
peeing on a
story?
church one time. But anyway, it's another story.
The witch story.
The dumpster story.
The dumpster.
Oh.
The reason that the dumpster is famous.
So we probably
Now,
shouldn't be saying.
Steven, you do not have to answer this.
Answer the question, please. Objection. The other lawyer is badgering the witness.
It was a lot of people back at the Beaver in those days. It was just jam packed. They had one bathroom that would work. So
You're getting into this.
the alley was out there, and it became the place to go. When you had to get a fresh air, you see the stars. Hear the
Smoke
siren.
a cigarette.
I don't think there's
Whatever.
anything about that story
You
that
were
has
just
the
going out there
word
for a
fresh
smoke break,
attached to
right?
it. I don't know.
Smoke break.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Even though at that time smoking was legal indoors, so
That was what was weird because I was looking at those pictures of whoever had taken.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there smoking, but no one was smoking in the bar this time. It was just weird kind of. I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
There's
going
very few.
into bars is sort of weird now because there is no smoking inside. No one's
Well,
smoking.
there's a couple that you can smoke in.
Yeah,
according to what
there's
state
always
you're in,
smoking
too.
bars, but as a
we were
general,
gonna go to that cigar
Oh yeah.
bar
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever.
Oh, my
That's a
God.
great story.
Yeah.
We spent
Listen.
like 40 minutes trying to park. We were like, "Oh, let's get some
Yeah.
cigars. That sounds like fun." We spent like
Yeah.
40 minutes trying to park, and eventually we get a place. It's Steven's trying to meet up with us. He's like, "Hey, my meeting was done like an hour ago. Where are you guys?" We're like, "We're trying to get into this place," and we finally get there. We're dressed in like
This
dirty
guy's
shirts
there.
and
Yeah.
shorts. You were in pants, but we round the corner and get to the place, and there's like 4 dudes in like 3-piece suits just standing.
Oh
at
yeah.
the door.
There
like,
was
"We're not
4
getting in there."
guards.
Yeah.
Two on each side.
They had
wearing-
earpieces. Their heads were all shaved.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I was like, yeah, they're not letting us in here.
Grace, you're
No
right.
way.
I've been
it's funny, I
watching
saw
a
you
lot
guys-
of Psych recently. Have you guys seen that show?
Oh yes, that's a
You
good
just
show.
gotta like Sean Spencer your way in. Be like,
Mm.
"There's a reason why I'm dressed like this. I need you
See,
to
if
not
we
tell
had-
anyone that I'm here. I'm in my plain clothes. Just
Right.
act like you didn't see me
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
Go,
If
let me
we
go
had
in there
those
and do what
high-
I do. Thank you."
If we had those high vis vests and that ladder, we could have got in.
That's what I'm saying. I know.
there.
So, Ben Adam Knights think we should do a calendar and show photos of the areas we've peed at, the trolls have peed at around the world.
That's a
over
good
the
idea.
years.
There you go.
That,
There'd
you
be
know.
so many areas.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
It'd be a big calendar. I
That's
don't know.
multiple years worth of content.
I think that's technically a sex offense, so we're not
You
gonna.
have to do one of those like daily tearaway calendars, you know.
Mm.
King,
Wait, hold on. Wait, can we get around it if it's just like cartoons?
Surely.
We're drawing people urinating now.
No. We're just places. That's all.
Like,
Arm while I'm good.
We're not monsters.
Lord Games takes a hard left.
Oh my God. King
We're in the
Glut says,
OnlyFans.
folks,
so you go. King Glut says, one time I was in a fist fight and a CNC game broke out.
Happens with most of us.
That happens a lot.
Bringing peace to the world.
That's right.
So,
Bring
what do
peace to
you
the world.
all think of splitting the party?
Oh yeah, this is
To
the
get back on the subject of the stream, can we like
All right.
go around and like say
I'll
if we've
start.
experienced
Yeah,
that?
you.
We don't need
Davis,
that.
you go first, and Grace, you pick whoever after that. That'll work out.
So there's 2 sides to it. All right. There's a player's perspective.
DM, we don't know what's
and the
going on.
castle keeper's designer's perspective, right? So you design a dungeon and you put your encounters in the dungeon, right? As a general rule, when you're designing a dungeon, when one designs a dungeon, you design it for the party and
At their
with
full strength,
the
yeah.
expectation that the party's going to be at full strength or whatever in X and X areas, and especially to meet the boss fight or something like that, for example. When the party splits, that becomes a problem because then you either have to adjust the encounters to meet, so it's fair to the players, or you leave encounters as they're designed and you pillage the characters. I generally leave them as designed, which is why it's ill advised, especially in a dungeon environment, or a controlled environment like that, to split the party. Though it's not always ill advised. There are areas where it's intentionally set up for the party to split, so that they can sneak around a few of them can sneak around one area and ambush a group or something like that.
I can attest that Davis has never changed his monsters to fit what the party has done.
But Castles and Crusades makes it really easy to do that.
It does. So you can adjust on the fly. It's really easy. The other thing is, like as Grace said earlier, that when you have the party split, you're splitting time. And more Kent said it too. You're splitting time between two different groups of players, and that can get onerous for one group or the other, especially if you get into a combat and the other one's just looking for traps or something like that. And as Grace said, when you get a group of people together and everyone's devoting 5 hours, it's best to maximize that time. I mean, it's still at the end of the day, it's a game. From the player's perspective, I don't really know why anyone would split a party. I think we do it all the time still. But it's always ill-advised, or usually ill-advised, to split the party. It never ends well. Or usually does. That's my opinion.
Sure. I'll take the talking stick next after that, if that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts.
The
So,
scratcher is passed to you.
thanks. I feel scratched already. So first of all, I think like this is not stuff that I implemented the last time I was running games, but I think next time I were to run a campaign, this is what I would do. Like, as soon as the party splits, set a 20-minute timer. At the end of that 20-minute timer, the smaller of the two parties is going to suffer something bad. But in the meantime, I think that splitting the party is totally fine. I think that it's easy to jump between stuff that's happening, and you can kind of like keep the pacing and like energy high doing it that way. Because if one party's in the middle of a fight and right before the baddie's turn, we're gonna go back to the other people. Like, it keeps them invested.
Their seats,
Just as long as the cuts are kind of rapid, because then that way everyone's still playing and no one's getting like lost in the sauce.
A constant set of cliffhangers, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do think that if you are going to split the party, you have to have like your goal needs to be getting back together.
Yeah.
Your immediate goal, your most immediate goal.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of situations where people like split in order to like one party is running interference on the villains or the thing, and then the other party is like sneaking in through the back. All sorts of stuff like that. I think that's cool. The only issue that I hate is when it's like one person who kind of wants to be the main character. Every player that I've encountered that has been notorious for that has been asked to leave the game.
Oh.
And that's my thought. Mel, do you want to go next?
Sure, why not? Split the party at your own peril. Foolish mortals, die! Everyone dies. Yeah, but no, seriously. Yeah, I mean, I don't change my encounters to accommodate a split party. I just create what it is that's going to be there. I create situations, and then players need to tackle that as they will. If you split the party and you end up getting yourselves killed, that's your own problem, not mine. That's the monsters and things that killed you. Sorry, good luck, have fun, roll up a new character. Just know that I love you. All right, I'm going to pass the stick over to Bossman Steve here.
Well, I would say that I'm kind of a mixture of all of that, because I do, Mel and Davis said they don't change their encounters, and that's, you will brutally kill characters, if you don't, and that's fine. But I will change the encounters when characters split, and I won't come down hard if the energy is high, but if at any point, and this is the problem, if that energy starts to slack and you start losing one of those groups or the other, if there's three or whatever, then you can start losing people. As soon as you lose people, it can easily go off track. And as someone said in the comments, when one player from Group A starts trying to chime in on what's going on in Group B, even though they're not actually there, they might actually give them information that they, or an idea.
Yeah.
It just so much chaos ensues that it becomes onerous. So in the olden times, back in the 80s, when I ran such a ferocious game, if they split the party, I docked experience points. I would knock experience points in a heartbeat. I mean, I just came down like a bag of hammers on anyone who made it any more difficult the game. I've since dude, you asked Todd and Mac if I would hold up, because this is my jotter, Dakota. Grace, this is my jotter. I looked for a Gen Con for 3 days.
The one we were trying to find.
Nice.
It was on my desk the whole time. But if I held up my pencil and you saw the eraser, you were losing experience points. And I didn't say anything. I would just look at you, hold up the pencil, and it means you just lost experience points. And in those days, you could play, I shit you not, I could run a 6-7 hour game and you might earn 50 experience points. So losing experience points was horrific. It was absolutely terrible. So I didn't like I used on that somewhat, and it's cool if you can keep that energy up, but if you lose that energy, it can be a train wreck. It can be a train wreck fast, especially with phones. When someone pulls their phone out, starts looking at
It was like that whale fight the other day, that flying whale that we fought. We kind of split the party on that one. But
sometimes you have to, yeah, absolutely.
We were bouncing back and forth, and everything was. Pete was hanging on the whale and driving his fist into it, and Aiden's flying around on my bird.
Sometimes you absolutely have to split the party, but I'm kind of when that concept of split the party is brought up, I'm assuming that you mean this party goes to investigate this section of the dungeon, while this party leaves the dungeon and goes and hunts for rabbits along the
Right.
Crap, whatever they're doing. And then it's just it becomes a pain in the butt, and I just want to kill everybody.
Remember we were playing up in the attic at PHV? I would make them leave the room. If the party split, the parties, you literally had to leave the attic. Okay. Yeah. And then I would tell you to come back in, and the other group would leave the attic, so no one knew what the other party was doing.
Davis, it never really crossed my mind that maybe the reason I died so many times in your campaign is I kept splitting the party. Maybe I should have stopped doing that.
This guy.
I will pass the scratching stick over to Chuck.
Oh. Consequences, man.
Chuck wasn't listening.
No. So I do it two ways. It's according to the nature of the game. If it is a campaign game, take your chances. We'll see how that works out. But if it's a one shot, then I actively will try to keep them together and work it out. Not try to, because you got 3 hours or whatever, you know what I mean? And they're going to remember how much fun they had, or they're going to remember it took 3 hours to go through one door, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But when it's a campaign, I mean, if it gets to a point where, now I have, said, hey, listen, I don't care if you guys spend an hour in here shopping, but then these other guys over here that have ended up ordering 3 pizzas because they've had to wait on you, we can't keep doing this, right? And I'll have a little talk about it or whatever, but for the most part, they usually end up either running into some sort of consequences that deals with the problem. One of the things I like to do, especially when it's not a dungeon, one of the things that people don't think about when they're playing games like this is they don't set their mindset as being medieval. So in the back of their mind, they don't say to themselves, well, I'm playing a game where I cannot instantly get a hold of somebody. You go into a large city and you wander away from the party, you get kidnapped, they could never find you again because there's no way to find you. There's no internet. Yeah. That can be pretty terrifying. So things like that, a few times, that'll steer them right in the right direction.
Wait, I cast the message spell.
Yeah, right. You're kind of implying that there's somewhere on the internet we can go to find kidnapped people. Is that something?
No, I'm implying that
something we don't know.
Call you up and say, "Hey, where the hell are you?" But they can't.
If the kidnapped person has their phone on them, you can find them.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. In CNC.
Unless
no one can hear you scream in CNC. Sorry.
No one can hear. Yeah, that's a great one.
There's a magic item that's 2 rings, and each person can communicate with the other person with a ring.
Yeah.
Listen, no one asked you to come in here and rain on my parade, buddy. All right.
I just think it's interesting that it's basically a mobile phone, and it was invented in the 70s. Like the concept, it was like a long range walkie-talkie kind of thing, but it's just 2 rings that you talk in.
How would you even know that doesn't matter?
Rocky-talkie.
The oldest young man in the world, right there, folks. In fact, I'm going to pass the stick to you now, Mr. Farkas.
Oh God. I mean, what everybody said is largely what I agree with. But I will like the technique and how to handle it and all that. I will say, if you can keep the energy high for both groups and you cut back and forth between them regularly enough to keep interest really sharp, splitting the party is a really, really great way to ratchet tension. Because
It is.
you can give the whole table is at the same table, so they all have the same information, but they can only act on what their group knows. So you can reveal something to half the table, and the other half of the table is aware of it, but they can't act on it. And so now you can put them in these really dramatic situations where like they have to act against their own interests because they know their character wouldn't know that. You could do a lot to like kind of ratchet up, like, oh my god, what do I do? You know, that kind of stuff. And those moments are great. So I'm pro splitting them up and fucking with them. I'm super pro that.
Yeah,
Big
absolutely.
agree.
I mean, because think about it, you know, I'm pretty sure if we were in a world of dungeons and we got split up, we would all horribly die. Let's just face it.
And I will also say, I challenge you to find a movie or a book where there's a group of people that are all together from beginning to end and no one ever separate. It's a weird like conceit of just the game because it's a pain in the ass to do, but a free flowing story, characters would come and go, they'd come back, they'd meet up, you know, all of that.
What's that scene in the Holy Grail, the cartoon scene just before the dragon eats the guy, where they show all of the characters together in a little bitty, you know what I'm talking about, Chuck?
There was my
it's exactly like that.
That's sort of what a party is like.
No, that's kind of actually, if you think about it, I kind of wonder if they did some gaming in their time because that was pretty spot on.
Maybe.
So, you know.
It was pretty early. I don't know. What year was that?
70 something.
75. So if they got into it year one, yeah, they could have done it.
I think it's just Dakota left to answer, right?
So is this question
As
from
a player?
DM perspective?
No, both.
So it's okay. So everybody's
All of
answered
the
as a
above.
DM.
That's right.
I'll answer as a player.
Yes.
So when
That's what I was
I'm
hoping.
sitting at the table and the party's split, it can. I see where Steve's point comes in, where it can get. You know, I have every inclination in my body because when he's talking to the other two or whoever else is split and I'm off on my own doing my own thing, pull my phone up and just. And then if he starts saying something, or I miss the tension, and I think it's more of a young person thing, or I don't know, maybe I just don't have a really good attention span. But I mean, I can see where splitting the party would cause issues in when the DM's trying to create the tension and you're trying to involve yourself in the story. And to my benefit, Steve can attest to this. I try to pay attention.
That's good.
You do. Mostly at the table, like Pete will get on his phone the instant something's not happening to him, and then Aiden's pretty good about it. Wilson's pretty good about it. But I'll sit there and I'll take. I'm the only one with a binder at the table. Wilson doesn't even show up with his character sheet half the time. He's a set of dice.
He's decided that CNC does not need a character sheet.
It sounds like it's a pretty normal game, to be honest with you.
He remembers all of it. But no, I mean, I think splitting the party can be fun, and I think if there's instances where I've split the party in a storytelling, like I'm going off to do something to better the situation by doing, like I'm going to go over here and cast a spell on this or dig for runes on that or do some searching on that while the other three are in the room fighting the boss. Because I mean, I'm a very different wizard than everybody else at the table, or everybody like a traditional wizard at the table. I'm not going to run in and cast Fireball. I have like one combative spell, and then all of my other spells are like
very cool.
I can attest to that. It infuriates the other three players.
I'm a horrible wizard. Like one time, I had 2 magic missiles. I'm like,
you're a great wizard. You're a great character. But
I'm a great.
Don't combat.
Dakota plays a wizard like I play a cleric.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If Davis is a cleric, there's no healing coming your way. Just forget it. Figure out something else. It's not using healing spells.
Yeah, I remember there was one time they were fighting a demi-lich or something, and
wow.
Pete had stuck his finger in the skull, touched the gem, and immediately died.
I'm sure.
And so Aiden and Wilson are over there, and Pete's our like heavy hitter, and he's got the most HP. And I'm sitting there like looking at the wall. There's like webs hanging from the roof, and I'm looking at the roof, and I'm casting spells, trying to I'm not throwing any combat spells or anything. They're like, can you please fireball this fucking thing or something? And I'm like, what? So, I don't guess that's splitting the party, but I do my own thing when it's in story, like when it's cool for the story. Like if I want to do something really creative.
along those same lines, I did have a thought that if the party is like super welded to each other at the hip,
Yeah.
it's really, really difficult to seed in like inter-party conflict or like subtle intrigue. Because if everybody knows all the same stuff, you can't like really.
And then that's
it can be harder to like introduce secrets and like things that one person knows that another person doesn't want to know because they just either won't bring it up at all because that person's never not there,
Right.
or they're just gonna have to bring it up for a reason that doesn't really make sense because that person is there. They just kind of want to explore it.
I think too, like as a player, it's a really great opportunity to show the other players that are at the table that you're invested in like the stuff that they're doing. Like it's an opportunity to be interested in the plot that's not happening directly to you or your character, and to show up for them and like be excited for the stuff that they're doing, and like that's awesome. That's a really fun opportunity.
I got a couple things to say real quick. So I've got one thing, and then we've got I think a couple 3 questions left, Grace, and then we're going to move over and get our giveaways because we got to get out of here.
We're in the final stretch.
So the Omega Gamma, he has it down right. He says for this kind of situation, DMs says, imagine this: you and your 3 friends have been bar hopping for a couple hours. One of you, the party leader, is the sober driver, and you only have 1 car. Is it wise to split the party? A good point. Because a lot of times people just don't think about that stuff. It's a tough one because you want to feel like you want to be punitive about it, but then again, you don't want to be. You know, I think the best thing is just make sure you have enough attention.
Here's the counter to that though.
Okay.
You get your friends home. You pull up to your friend's house and you're like, all right, I guess I'm spending the night here, even though I'm the sober one, because we can't separate.
I will say
that's a bit. I would go home. That's a bit weird.
We did lose. Davis split the party one night at Gen Con. We all got a little inebriated, and Davis disappeared. We didn't find him until the next day around.
Oh my God!
So, we had no idea where he was.
It's like what I was talking about. We don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All
I lost him for 3 hours at GaryCon. We went out to have a cigarette, and then I turned around and he was gone. It was crazy.
Yeah, he kind of like wanders the halls of these cons. He's not like us. He's got his own agenda. Cool. Anyway, I'm gonna switch over.
Now,
And get
so the real question at the end of the thing, though, is this: considering the phones that Coda mentioned, should there be foot lockers at the game table so everyone puts their phone in the foot locker?
I've seen people use boxes before. I've seen that happen.
And you have to make a blood sacrifice to get your phone out.
Well,
I love this.
Hey, easy.
Yes.
Mel weighs in again.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
All right. What was those last questions we had?
Can you
Grace?
imagine your DM just like,
If you want your phone back, give me your blood.
Oh, God.
Here's
I
some
don't know if I
sheep.
can now.
I don't know if I would play at that
really
table.
We really need to find someone who can do the comic for us, the trolls, right?
me?
Oh,
Mel?
I forgot.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mel.
yeah. Okay, so what we can do? So I have this.
Oh, wait,
I totally forgot that Ken already had tapped you for that. Okay, so we're gonna just tell stories of like the troll lords as we
some stories.
yeah. Some stories will remain.
All right, I've got one last like rapid fire question for us. There were questions that we didn't get to, and I'm so sorry, y'all. But 13. Oh, no. Gaming Aramile asked, how many of you fudged the dice to keep players alive? Let's just go yes or no, everybody.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Chuck.
Sometimes.
You'll
You
never
just
know.
want to say.
Jeremy.
I don't think it's here.
I mean, again, it's according if I'm playing
mean-
a campaign or a one shot. If I'm doing a one shot, I'll help them out. You know, make some. I don't know. That's not necessarily true either.
The
I don't
answer
know.
is yes, but you always emphatically say no.
So,
That's the
so
secret.
Grace said yes or no.
Now I will fudge the dice
Maybe.
to kill characters too. So there you go.
With
Yeah.
what? What with NPCs? You said.
No characters.
Oh.
I'll kill characters.
Damn right.
Coming from a
If he
game
won't
where I
even say
never fudged
no,
the
he'll
dice,
just be
I
like,
would
no,
like
you're not
to.
passing this. I don't want you to pass this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's
I
a
think
tough
fudging
one.
the dice is a good
Yeah.
thing.
I think
so.
not fudging the dice is a good standard.
It's
But
fun.
The reason-
until you figure out how to fudge the dice appropriately.
That's
Exactly.
exactly right.
Parky, now you
It's storytelling elements. That's what it is.
Yeah, you don't want to
Exactly.
have a TPK
I mean,
every session. You know what I mean? That gets
That's
boring.
why I'm pretty biased to it because the only CK I've ever had is Steve, and he's a grandiose storyteller. So, it's
And I'm
there's
glad
always
both
an
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one dice roll going wrong can destroy a whole game. You know. So
It's beautiful.
yeah.
All right, let's do these giveaways and get out of here. All right, so I'm going to close the giveaways out. Go.
Mel, I like your attitude.
Hey, you know what? Look for the light in the dark, right?
That's right.
You need somebody like that. Even
And my monsters don't roll a D20 to hit; they roll a D30 to hit.
You and that damn D30. I swear to God.
All right, so our first couple we're going to draw is for $15. There'll be a link pop up in the chat. Just join our Discord if you're not already a member, and hit up Obsidian Risk, and he'll give you a code. First winner is going to be Player Sum. Oh, awesome! You're a new one in the community. Good, congrats, you won. That's amazing.
Welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, I think he's in the Discord too. I saw
you can use it to buy a mystery box.
There's a tiny Chuck on my watch.
Next up is Lucidius. Oh, how you doing? Haven't seen him in a while. Congrats to you as well, my friend.
Welcome back.
That's both the $15, and then we've got $125 I'm gonna give away. It is MJ Cook. There we go. Awesome.
Woo-hoo.
Awesome. That is amazing.
Use those
Congrats.
coupons to get the $50 mystery boxes that
Oh
are.
yeah, I
in store
forgot
now.
about those 50.
Photos put together.
We got a ton of them. We got
A
a ton. Of
ton.
them. And they've got all kinds of random century and stuff, and they're treasure troves of history.
Old
There you go.
shoes, rubber band balls.
Yeah. Sideways
Little-
cut books
A little bit of pee.
Wait,
from
what?
the dumpster.
All right, I'm gonna set us up a raid, and then we will get out of here. We're gonna raid into Phantom NJ. He is streaming right now. We're gonna go over to him. He was just in here talking, actually.
Barky pie.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out with us. I'll be back Saturday with my game, and on and so forth will be on the schedule. So come by and see us.
Hey, is anyone from Wyoming out here?
What?
Where's this
What
going?
the hell?
Okay.
What?
No, let him talk. Let him talk.
Wait, no. There's
This is gonna be great.
a national forest area in Wyoming. I cannot remember the name of it. It's very, very remote, like a wilderness area. It very rarely gets hikers. There's hardly any trails in it,
We're 4 minutes over.
and I can't remember the name of the forest.
You got about 20 seconds to
It's the
remember.
dark
Oh,
green
come on,
forest. Dark and fold. That's it.
The Dark and Fold.
Yeah.
Is it Oregon?
All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here.
Anyway.
Thank you so much.
Random-
Froza!
But-
Ow!
Like you're missing the first